community primarily, and they have a college prep mission. And so they came to us and said, we know you have a charter school similar to ours. We don't have a school. What should we do? Our superintendent, Dr. Buchanan, went to the Elk Grove superintendent and said, you've got this group that need to be served. The Elk Grove superintendent said, the time's too short. We don't have that kind of program. We can't serve them. We'll be happy to let you serve them for this year while we figure out a solution. So that's why we came forward with a waiver. You should have documentation from Dr. Buchanan, a letter signed by him saying and documenting that he had met with Elk Grove superintendent. And so that's why we're asking for this waiver to serve these 230 students.
And is the intent that you would keep them as a charter in the long term, or just do it for a year, or not sure? I know it's a one-year waiver. I'm asking what your intent is.
Right now, my intent is survival, to keep their program alive for this year. I don't have a long-term intent. Our long-term intent would be to work with Elk Grove if they can incorporate this into their own charter or their own program or their own service. That would be best, and that would be in keeping with 1994.
And how far away is your district boundaries from Elk Grove? You're adjoining?
No, I don't know the exact boundaries.
It's here in Sacramento.
It's both in,
I just don't know it. I'm sorry.
Well, between where
Less
I'm
than 100
located and they're
miles?
located, it's about
10.
15 miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 to 15 miles.
Okay.
All right. If there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions? Any board members?
Yeah, API of the school that's addressed the,
We don't yet have an ABI. We have only been in existence 1 year.
not you, the school that you would take.
CCA, remember, had 75 sites, and overall, most of their schools were 1-1s. However, it does not indicate independent sites, so we can't disaggregate that information. And the reason CDE supported it was that we reached out with the 11,000 kids that were displaced and asked counties and districts to pick this up, and my staff has verified that, in fact, Elk Grove and the county SUP would support this for 1 year.
Well, why would we want to try and save a 1-1?
I can't tell you that that this particular site was a 1-1 overall.
Okay.
So they could have, this was a program that was looking like they were trying to do college prep, and we're just hoping that we can sustain it long enough to either have them get their own charter or make other plans and join a school.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a motion for staff, move staff recommendation for 1 year only? Don Fisher, second by Ruth. All those in favor?
Sorry, before you call the question, can I have a little more discussion on the fence of voting against it. So it seems to me that the argument to vote against it is it's got no academic track record. Why are we doing them any favors? They should just, they'll get served by Elk Grove.
Well,
Good district.
you have a school full of Ukrainian immigrant children.
Yeah.
There are, and I can tell you, having been on the plane, I wish Joe was here, we could tell the story of the plane full of Ukrainian immigrants coming, that it was for a 1 year because there was difficulty absorbing them into the Elk Grove school district. And so the idea was to allow them 1 year to see if they're either going to make it as a charter school or else then give Elk Grove more time to absorb them. That was the dilemma that we were faced with. So that's why we're suggesting it.
So it's a capacity issue.
Rita, if you want a little more comfort, I talked yesterday with Assemblymember Reyes, who had the bill, if you recall, and I think, not want to mischaracterize it, she's comfortable as long as this isn't precedent setting, which is something I know that Don always worries about.
So that sort of overrides her letter to the effect, is it?
After, with the explanation that there are 11,000 kids that, basically with 2 or 3 weeks notice, so yes.
Right, and for 1 year, and then
One year only, because she didn't want us to emphasize that.
I'm happy to vote for it. Then I think the overall message is, if you don't have academic results, then I'm not going to vote for the thing. So the absence of it's not acceptable because they have test results. So what we may be doing is extending for another year a really poor school. We don't know. But, it's 1 year and it's these kids, so.
It's an odd circumstance as well.
That's right. It'll give them time to integrate in Elk Grove if that's the right thing.
There's the capacity issue at Elk Grove, so it's a coming together of circumstances that are not optimum. So.
That we have no access to their data. Their database and all their testing material, everything was shut down as soon as California Charter Academy closed. So even if I wanted to prepare a report for you based on their STAR testing scores, I have no access to their data based on the way this all went down so soon. So.
In fact, that's true with almost all 11,000. In fact, records were being shredded. Was it San Bernardino, I think? Yeah, at one of the schools in San Bernardino. And we were able to shred it.
Okay, we have a motion. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
All right, the second one is a similar situation, another district. This is Mineral Elementary School District, which has a charter called E-Scholar Academy, and that mineral district is in Tehama County. Again, there was a California Charter Academy site in Gridley, which is in Butte County. And here again, the law does allow for one adjoining county, but a condition of that is that you cannot serve more ADA in the adjoining county than you do in your own. Obviously, the intent of that is to not just have someone just farming out all these other counties and having a little site with no real students in it in the site that where the chartering the agency. So what they're asking for is a waiver of that particular section, which will allow them to claim, because the figures here are such that there are there are only 47 charter people in the E-Scholar Academy, and there is, what was that, 360? 160, that's right, 160 in the Gridley site. So they would have to claim more ADA in a Gridley site, which is an adjoining county. Again, it's under the law, it's just the condition under which it was granted in the law they can't meet. Because
Right,
they have
so why would we? So other than the 1 year argument, I wouldn't want to vote to gut that provision in the law. So if you want to make the argument for 1 year, it's a transition time.
It is 1 year that we're recommending.
The district should, yeah. So what the school should clearly hear is, if we go ahead with this, you still have to get your host district to sponsor you or wind your way up to the state. You're from the charter school? Okay. So I'd like to move the staff recommendation then.
Do you have a second? Lee? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? No. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are still 2 more waivers, sorry, to the little technicalities, because I think these are simple waivers. We do them quite often. When you have a charter that's running more than one track, they have to account their time, their ADA differently, or else they get penalized in the funding system the way it is. So the last 2 waivers are to request a multi-track waiver for calendaring for ADA purposes. And we do have a policy on this, and this complies with that.
Okay. This is,
I'm sorry.
Judy, tell us
the
where we
last
are
2
on
waivers, well, see, it's still W28. Everything's W28. This happens to be Grant Joint Union for a multi-track calendar and the E-Scholar Academy in Tehama County. So it's the same 2 charters, just because, let me explain the circumstance. Both the charters have already started, the ones that were the ones that are the sponsoring agencies. The charters that were coming in from CCA weren't supposed to start until September 13th, so there's no way they can start those kids in arrears back in August 24th. So they need to keep a separate calendar for the new kids coming in. That's right.
okay.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous decision. Okay. Is that it, except for our sad last chapter here? Well, thank you very much, Judy. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. All right, this is almost the end of our meeting, and it's certainly close to the end of Ray's service to the State Board of Education, and it's a sad, sad day. Anyway, so I'm going to invite the board in just a moment to say all those nice things about Ray, but I'm going to start and then present her with the plaque. So I've talked to folks around the community and the Education Coalition and different, oh, stop it. She hates this. Well, I'm sorry, I'll keep it really short, but they won't. Anyway, Ray has been characterized as being an honest broker, a person with integrity, very, very bright, in fact, brilliant, I would say. And yeah, unbelievable work ethic. I think everybody has noticed that about Ray. And I really have thoroughly enjoyed working with her and have learned so much in a short amount of time, and I will be very sorry to see her go. So let me give you this plaque and a book. And thank you, Glee, for organizing a lot of this. Yeah. And this is an art of promoting the Golden State. California College U, I guess, is well known around these parts. Just beautiful. And let me read the plaque. Sorry? Anyway, Ray Belisle, Executive Director, in acknowledgement for your unstinting effort, in admiration of your knowledge, and gratitude for your kindness of heart, in appreciation of your thoughtful contributions, in recognition of your exemplary service to the California State Board of Education, September 2004. We'll cut it short. I'm just thankful that the plaque was shorter than some of the motions I had to read. Should we go around the horseshoe? Ricky?
First of all, Ray, I want to say thank you for making my transition very easy. It was sometimes it can be difficult, and I just want to inform the audience. You get swamped with a lot of paperwork up here, and I was telling some of my friends that on Labor Day weekend I spent my weekend going through an agenda that was half my height. But someone who really made that easy was Ray. Ray, whenever I had a question, I would give her a call, and she would explain all the nuances of some of this language. And like I said, my transition was just made that much easier by your presence, by your guidance. So I'm sorry I only had a week and a half, or actually, just about a week and a half, 2 weeks to formally get to know you and work with you in this capacity. But it's been an honor so far. I wish I could have had a whole year, but I appreciate your service, what you've done in the past, and hopefully we carry your message on. Thanks so much.
Ray, it's been 4 years, and you've been around most of the time. You did leave Los Angeles for a bit, but you've contributed a tremendous amount to this group, and I just hope that we're able to find somebody that can replace you. I programmed in your cell phone number into my telephone here, and during the meetings I may be calling you and asking how to vote, or what the rules are on these things, because I can't tell you how impressed I am with your knowledge of No Child Left Behind and the whole state complicated laws that we have that are just too complicated for anybody to really know. And I appreciate everything that you've done for us, and I hope that we can continue to call on you. You've done a great job.
In so many levels. So I got you a book, The Zero Tolerance Approach to Punctuation. For those of you who haven't read it, it's quite delightful. And my inscription to you is, Ray, you inspire me. Your clear mind and clear heart are a beacon of goodness in the rough seas of education policy and politics. Here's a book to inspire your love of clear language.
Well, my friend, you're dying over there, so I really will try to be short. I'll come upstairs. You have done this work. Every institution is blessed if it has someone who fights for the soul of the institution, and that is what you brought to this work. Is an unrelenting passion. You've really been the compass for education reform in a way that I don't know what we'd have done without you. And as an individual board member, you made us look good. You kept us out of harm's way many, many times. And have a friend for life.
Yesterday when I started to give my little report, I tried to describe the student population in the state. And a couple of the terms I used were challenging, interesting, and promising. And I think 2 out of 3 probably go to Ray, and you can figure out which 2 out of 3. Use your own judgment. But it's really One of my notes here that I thought about last night was that Suzanne just took it, and it really is raise a moral compass, I think, for all of us and for public education. Clearly a person of integrity, clearly a person with great historical knowledge, historical perspective. Don, I think that's what we're going to miss around here a ton. And somebody that's equally good on the policy and the politics. I mean, some of us are better at one than the other, and I think Ray is very, very good at both. She's not always the easiest person to get along with, and if only she were a little more opinionated at time. But I tell you, we've been friends for a long time. When she first went to work with our mutual friend, Ted Lemper, and she was outstanding staff member then, outstanding and intensely loyal to this board, you should all know. And clearly there are 6.2 million students, most of whom you'll never meet, you're probably glad, who are better off because of your hard work. So thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Ray.
It's a privilege and a blessing to have had an opportunity to have worked in this environment with you, Ray, and to know you as a person. The breadth and depth of your knowledge, brilliant is a word that should be rarely used, and it truly suits you. But beyond brilliance, what's even more significant is your heart and your honor and your passionate commitment. Not only have you impacted over 6 million children, I mean, we all know that if you impact positively one child, or one person in particular, one child in a life, it's an incredible accomplishment. To have had a positive impact on 6 million children, and because of that, the whole state, is a legacy that you could be so proud of that few people could ever have in their life. And you deserve the very best with your life. I know you will have it. And we are grateful that you have offered continued counsel to us. And I can't thank you enough and wish you the best.
I've had only a short, since March, time to know you, but you remind me of what I think is best about this state. You are challenging, you are technologically going forward, you're historically knowledgeable. You are an interesting, warm human being, and when people say to me, I'm always so proud to say that I'm a California native, but you represent, whether you are one or not, you represent to me the heart of California, and I know that we will all sorely miss you, and I think that the Office of Education will miss you too, because to be that kind of person that we can all call and know that you both have the policy and the ethical background and the historical background to kind of guide us. I'm only hoping that the 10 people that are going to take your place, because that's about what we would probably need in terms of your abilities, could do. Whomever it is going to be able to do a third of what you've done. So I appreciate not only your service, but your warmth and the beginnings of a nice friendship. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned, and
I get to say something.
oh, sorry, gosh,
Look at see,
Ray
there
off
you
the
go.
hook. She's
No,
been dying over here, and
because
I was gonna.
I will tell you this, that I got into this field. I was a corporate lawyer doing reorganizations, Chapter 11s, and I got into this because of what was happening to my son and daughter. I have 3, but just 2 of them, and they're special ed. And I have a son who couldn't read, and now he is graduating. He's in calculus, a total honor student. He'll go to UC, and he could pick a lot of colleges to go to. And that's because, and it's not because I'm great, it's because I can do what Jack said, which is I hold people to very high standards, and my children will tell you that. And I hold this department to a very high standard, and I am intensely loyal to this board and to this governor. Whichever governor I'm serving, though this one's my favorite because I was quite an advocate before he became governor. And so I'm happy about that. And I will tell you that many of the people in this department, under you, Jack, so I give you all the credit for it, have become personal, close friends of mine. And I am demanding, though I think the ones that I've become close with, and many of them are sitting here. I'm looking at Sue Stickle and Deb Sigmund, and there's Bill Padilla and Marta and others. I hold them to a very high standard, and they come up to it, and we're all better off because of it. And we grouse about things. I know you know that. But everyone who benefits is this board and the kids, and that's the only reason that I do it. So I appreciate that it may be easier for you because I'm not here, though I'll be somewhere, and I'm telling you that I'll be watching. And I have to say, Camille, she's not here, but she has become a very close friend, and I think you're just so lucky to have all the people that I've named, and I know there's others. And I do have a vision. I see some things very clearly, and when I do, opinionated is not the word for it. It is probably a zealot because it's so clear to me. And I was a broken child, okay, one of the broken ones. I didn't go to school. I thought it was boring. I did a lot of things. But you know what? A track teacher and some people stepped in on my life, and I wanted to be one of those people for those kids. So to me, there are no broken children. There just aren't any. I don't see it. I don't want to see it. There may be cognitively disabled, you know, severely, but they're not broken, and we have to let them be what they can be. And so I do have this horrid vision. I mean, just strong, intense, and that's why at 9 or 10 o'clock, I'm here. And I'm on my cell phone all the way home, and I'm working at home. And probably the biggest supporter in me leaving this board was my husband and my kids. But little do they know that, unfortunate for them, I'm so committed to this that you will see me around. I know that I have rules to follow as far as lobbying, and I will never violate that, being a lawyer that I am. But thank you for the opportunity. I truly view you as the blessing to me, all of you, Jack included, and this whole department, and Judy Penniger, so many, Susie, we've been here, Gavin. I mean, I could just name everyone, and I'll send out a system-wide note. I really appreciate it. And Bonnie, we've gone through some difficult press times lately, not personal times, and I appreciate the kind words, and I want this governor to be absolutely 100% successful. And I know that he knows. I've met with him several times, and every time I come out of there, I feel like just a warrior for education. He's so inspiring. This board is going to be a tremendous tool for him. And I know with you here, I really encourage you to make sure that people understand the value of this board, the way that I see it. And so thank you for the opportunity to be here. I really have loved it, and I've made great friends, and I really thank you for it.
Thank you, Ray. And now this meeting's adjourned. Upstairs, I'm sorry. Gosh, I'm terribly sorry. You have to tell me who's coming up here.
Hi, I'm here representing Gay Smoo, representing the County Superintendent's Association, and Glenn and John are at a CPR hearing down in Southern California today, or they would be here themselves. But they understand the importance of the board and of the important role that the executive director plays. And I think they would echo all the comments here, as well as to say that anyone who has worked with you would testify to your high competence and your very solution-oriented approach to things. But most of all, I think that people will remember you for the manner in which you conducted your work, and that is your compassion and your integrity. And so on behalf of the county superintendents, we have a certificate of appreciation, if I may read it, presented to Ray Belisle to express our heartfelt appreciation for your outstanding contributions to the support of public education while serving on the State Board of Education. The county superintendents thanks you for all of your efforts on behalf of the county superintendents and the students of California.
Oh, very nice. Very thoughtful of the county superintendents.
Deborah, how are we doing? Okay, third time's a charm. This meeting is adjourned.